Gaethje fought very fucking dirty in this fight. A lot of eye pokes, a groin shot as well. I think Paddy Pimblett had a groin shot that he landed too, but that was towards the end of the fight where it was just an absolute mess of a scrap between the two.
The cage door finally slammed shut on the fight everyone had been waiting for. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, the human highlight reel, were about to end their heated rivalry right there in the octagon. When that last second ticked away, the entire MMA community went wild with reactions and takes on what just went down between these lightweight giants.
48-47, 49-46, and 49-46 for the winner.
It was an absolutely incredible fight, incredible war. I want you to enjoy it, enjoy your victory. Congratulations on the interim championship belt. Look forward to seeing you fight all the time.
I just want to thank the UFC for allowing me to be in this position. This is like my 11th main event.
Oh, it's
And obviously delivered in the main event, capped off with a war. Just give us your thoughts on Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett delivering a 5-round battle.
Yeah, I mean, what a couple. So Paddy Pimblett at the weigh-in yesterday says, I'm going to knock this motherfucker out tomorrow. And I was like, that's interesting. And he never abandoned that game plan. Even when, you know, he got dropped a couple times, I kept waiting for him. I'm like, he's eventually going to have to shoot and try to submit him. Now he, you know, I didn't know Paddy Pimblett had a chin like that till tonight. And, yeah, absolute dogfight in a war, and much respect to both guys.
We haven't seen Justin yet, so we don't know what his status is physically. But, I mean, is the interim, you know, is the unification fight have to be next? Or is there a case if he's hurt and needs to be out for a while?
Apparently he's 100%. So we sent Paddy Pimblett straight to the hospital, and then we're going to send Gaethje too. And Gaethje's like, believe me, I've been in plenty of wars. I'm good. So as far as we know right now, he's healthy.
Dana, I remember when Paddy first arrived in the UFC, you were saying stuff like, well, his entrance is good and it's all well and good to get the fans, but he needs to be able to fight. Obviously, we've seen him have great wins before, but to show the durability he had in that fight tonight, do you feel like even though he lost, he will be considered one of the best in that division moving forward?
No doubt about it. I mean, he was the favorite tonight. I think that's what fucked him. Every other one, he's the underdog and everybody thinks he's going to lose. Tonight, he's the favorite. I don't think that his game plan was the greatest. Obviously, tonight he showed he is tough, he is durable, and almost impossible. I mean, especially against Gaethje. And you're eating those punches from him. You know, it's one thing to say, listen, I'm going to come out. I know I believe in my durability. I believe in my chin, and I'm going to go toe-to-toe with this guy. But when it starts to not work, at some point you got to say, you know what? It's the third round. I got 2 rounds left. I might want to try to take him down and submit him here.
One of the biggest storylines coming out of this war was the complete domination that unfolded. The winner made it crystal clear afterward that he'd planned to finish this beef with authority from day one. Beyond just winning though, he genuinely seemed to relish the opportunity to school his rival and teach him something he wouldn't forget. Think back to what was said before they stepped in there. His opponent was running his mouth about how my face wouldn't look the same when it was over, while claiming his own would be untouched. When the dust settled, you could almost see the victor thinking, well, look in the mirror now and tell me your face looks exactly the same. That guy definitely learned something painful that night. You just can't walk in there with that kind of cocky attitude when you're facing elite competition. A real champion or someone trying to become one has to prepare for the absolute worst case scenario and think about everything that could go sideways. That's how you perform when everything's on the line. When you're ready for disaster, you bring out your peak performance. These are the lessons that have to sink in. His whole mentality going into that fight was seriously flawed from the start. You can't operate like that with such fake confidence and baseless swagger. Phony assurance is absolutely toxic and will destroy you every time. That's exactly what he was carrying with him, and hopefully he learns from this.
That I'm glad it's over and I never want to do it again. I'm like, the fans don't ever ask for a rematch or anything like that, because that would have never. I'm like, I'm glad. He's unique, man, and he's one of my favorite guys to watch. So like, but if you want to beat Justin Gaethje, you have to. So he's a forward fighter and a pressure fighter that he will stand in the pocket. And he's gonna throw everything he got in that pocket. If you don't meet him, you'll get chewed up. So Paddy, the way to beat a guy who like does this, very violent, aggressive pressure fighter, you have to meet him. You have to throw when he throws. So you got to be brave, and you have to go when he goes in between his shots. If you do that, you got a fair shot. If you don't do that, if you're not brave and courageous and throw when he throws in between his shots, it's going to be a really long night. It's going to be a hard night for you.
Looking back at what the experts were saying before this massive showdown reveals just how divided the fight community really was on this matchup. Eddie Alvarez brought a totally different perspective to his breakdown, drawing from personal experience after losing to Gaethje in his first UFC appearance. Rather than just breaking down skills and attributes, Alvarez emphasized preparation quality as potentially the deciding element. The former champion explained that Gaethje brings this special kind of overwhelming pressure that training partners just can't replicate during camp. Alvarez vividly remembered those constant body shots, the never-ending aggression, and the complete lack of space to breathe that marked their violent encounter. He stressed that no amount of sparring can truly prepare you for that reality until you're experiencing championship level pressure firsthand against Justin.
Oh man, more skilled, more experienced, I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. You know, because of his haircut and the way he talks, and when I fought him, he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there, but Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Ilia Topuria later on this year.
Michael Chandler brought something really special to this analysis, since he's one of the few fighters who's actually shared the cage with both guys. After Pimblett's stunning finish in April of last year that caught everyone off guard and announced his arrival as a serious contender, Chandler gave the Liverpool fighter his due credit. He acknowledged that Paddy the Baddy possessed a much more well-rounded game than his doubters were willing to admit. But when it came time to actually pick a winner, Chandler still went with Gaethje, pointing to his veteran savvy and an overall skill level that he felt was simply superior. The former Bellator king described Gaethje as representing a completely different challenge, something Pimblett hadn't encountered before in his career, bringing pressure and power that truly separates the pretenders from the elite.
I'm leaning towards Justin.
You're one of the few that I've heard say that. Can you tell us why?
I just think he's been in those 25-minute fights. He's been in dog fights before. I think Paddy's going to have a tough time stopping him on the feet, and I don't think Paddy's going to be able to get him down, so he's going to have to fight with him. Unless Paddy can stay super disciplined for 25 minutes, stay at distance, pick his shots. Justin's just a bigger puncher, and he'll put himself in harm's way to land one of those shots. And it's tough to stay away from it for 25 minutes.
Do you think that the UFC wants Paddy to win?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, because Justin's talking about retirement, and Paddy's still young, and they can continue to build him. There's a bunch of fights we haven't seen with Paddy. So it's more marketable if Paddy wins.
And so how do you see it playing out?
Tony Ferguson offered his own unique take on this fight, and his opinion carried extra weight since he's battled both of these killers during his legendary UFC run. El Kukui suggested that Gaethje's track record of interim titles and coming up short in actual championship opportunities might create some serious psychological baggage, especially when the lights are brightest and the pressure is crushing down. On the flip side, Ferguson thought Pimblett's hunger for his first major title could fuel the kind of desperate determination that pushes fighters beyond their normal limits into uncharted territory. Drawing from his own wars with both men, Ferguson saw clear vulnerabilities in each fighter's game. When pressed to make a call though, he leaned slightly toward the hungrier challenger, believing that raw desire with everything on the line could be the deciding factor in a war like this.
That's going to be a fun fight. I'm going to go with Paddy, you know what I mean? There's been a couple of times where I thought Paddy's had big tests in front of him and he's passed them. And, you know, he showed me in his last fight he can really stick to a game plan. And he's going to need that with a Gaethje.
Colby Covington brought his typical confidence to the discussion, expressing serious frustration with how heavily the betting public was backing the British fighter Paddy Pimblett. Chaos made it clear that if active fighters could bet on fights, which obviously they can't for obvious reasons, he would have put serious money down on Justin Gaethje. Despite all the hype in the gambling world heavily favoring Pimblett, Covington saw something completely different brewing. He viewed Gaethje as this battle-tested warrior who would bring crushing non-stop pressure that Pimblett had simply never experienced inside that cage. This wasn't going to be just another tough night at the office, according to Covington.
Bad, dude. Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again, Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. He's going in there. He's going to be trying to, you know, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitedness, in my opinion.
Matchup, you know. Yeah. I think 5 rounds. If this is the common take, everybody gonna say that, not only me. But if Justin Gaethje doesn't stop him on the beginning, he's going to lose. I think everybody thinks like that, and I think Paddy Pimblett will beat Justin Gaethje. That's what I...
Sean O'Malley completely broke from the pack with his take on this lightweight showdown. Sugar was backing Pimblett with serious enthusiasm to capture that interim title. The bantamweight star saw this as a fascinating puzzle for the British grappler solve, spotting opportunities where others only saw problems. O'Malley went all in with his prediction, calling for Pimblett to find his opening in the second round and lock up the finish with his signature rear naked choke. This showed massive belief, not just in Pimblett's ground game, but in his fight IQ and ability to recognize when opponents are hurt and capitalize in those scrambles. O'Malley was convinced that superior grappling and jiu-jitsu would ultimately make the difference when everything was hanging in the balance.
I don't know, dude. I'm kind of leaning towards Paddy. But the way he does get hit with left hooks, he looks so good against Michael Chandler. Paddy's got a lot of ways to win.
He's a scouser.
He's a scouser. Scousers don't get knocked out, you mushroom.
He KO'd Dustin with a head kick too. The fight before the Max Holloway one, which is pretty impressive.
True. So he got, man.
Probably Paddy, rear naked.
So what's your read on this lightweight war? After hearing all these different expert perspectives, how do you see the dynamics that were in play between these two warriors?
Paddy RNC is definitely possible.
What's your final verdict on this clash? Who impressed you most? Who caught you by surprise? And where do you see both Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje heading after this epic battle? Drop all your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. We're always excited to hear your takes and watch these debates heat up. And if you're digging this breakdown of expert predictions and you're as obsessed with MMA as we are, do us a solid, get that like button hard, share this with your fight-loving crew, and make sure you subscribe for more detailed MMA breakdowns exactly like this. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming next.